Hello everyone, and welcome to Pop de Jure, where pop culture and law collide. I'm your host, attorney Chinwé Foster, and this video has been sponsored by the Foster Law Firm. All images and information in this video are for educational purposes only. I'm sure you all have heard about the drama surrounding young Thug and Gunna.
New accusations against rapper Young Thug stemming from a raid at his Buckhead home. Now he's charged with additional drug offenses, gang activity, and possession of weapons. He's facing 2 separate criminal cases, 2 charges from the RICO case and 7 charges in the latest legal action. In the RICO indictment, Thug is accused of several criminal acts.
We are here today about a grand jury indictment that was returned that included not just Jeffrey Williams, but about 28 defendants. It is our allegation that they operated as a criminal street gang and commenced to do havoc in our community. That havoc includes crimes of violence, crimes of thefts, crimes involving drugs that operated within our community between the time period of 2012 and 2022. 2012.
Interesting, right? Back in 2011, an investigation took place in Atlanta, Georgia, that concluded that dozens of educators willingly falsified standardized test results. 35 public school educators and administrators were indicted by a grand jury in 2013 on racketeering charges. So what does this all have to do with Young Thug and Gunna, you ask? Well, the same prosecutor who went after the educators in the Atlanta public school system is the same prosecutor that is prosecuting the YSL case.
I've made no secret about it, nor any apology, that as the district attorney of Fulton County, my #1 focus is targeting gangs.
But do you know the laws that they fell prey to? Well, stick around with me for a few more minutes and we'll break down the charges and how and why they apply here. Let's get into this week's episode. Many of you have seen mafia movies like The Godfather, Goodfellas, and Scarface. And in those movies, you see these mafia bosses committing crimes like killing people, selling drugs, and making money off of it. Now, while these movies are fictional, they're loosely based off of real-life mob bosses. So while these organized groups were committing crimes and making money and getting rich off their illegal activities, the government had to step in because they didn't like the fact that they were committing crimes, but they're also making money and getting rich and not getting taxed for it. So the government had to come up with a way to control this. And that's essentially how the RICO Act came about. RICO is the acronym that stands for Racketeer Influence Corrupt Organizations. So after the feds came up with the RICO Act, other states, including Georgia, decided that they wanted to come up with their own state law to combat organized crime. The Georgia statute that defines the element of the RICO charge is OCGA 1614-4. Now, OCGA stands for Official Code of Georgia Annotated. I'm going to say that often, so it's good for you to know what that stands for. OCGA 1614-4 states, "It shall be unlawful for any person, through a pattern of racketeering activity or proceeds derived therefrom, to acquire or maintain, directly or indirectly, any interest in or control of any enterprise, real property, or personal property of any nature, including money." It shall be unlawful for any person employed by or associated with any enterprise to conduct or participate in, directly or indirectly, such enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity. It shall be unlawful for any person to conspire or endeavor to violate any of the provisions of subsection A or B of this code section. Georgia courts have found that if a person is a member of a group and that person or members of that person's group commit a pattern of crimes for the purpose of that enterprise or enhancing and elevating the group, that person or members of the group can be found guilty of violating the RICO statute. So in order to be found guilty of violating the RICO statute, there must be an organization. So that's like the mafia, a government agency, a business, or if you live in Fulton County, you could be a teacher just doing your job, teaching kids, or you could be a musician exercising your First Amendment right to make music and still be charged with violating the RICO statute. But I digress. A pattern of crimes. So there must be more than one criminal act. For it to be a pattern in violation of the RICO statute in Georgia, it must be multiple crimes that occur within 4 years of each other. In furtherance of the organization. So members of the group must be committing crimes with a common purpose. And that common purpose must be to either make money or to elevate the interests of the group.
The question is, should rap lyrics be used to prosecute individuals in crimes? Rap lyrics have always come under scrutiny. However, now prosecutors are saying that they're more than just lyrics, and instead a confession disguised as artistic expression. Rappers are feeling the pressure to clean up their speech, but they also feel that it's unfair to target them because this is the reality of where they come from. Jay-Z and other famous artists have banded together to urge New York lawmakers to pass a proposed bill, Rap Music on Trial. The New York state law aims to stop prosecutors from using rap lyrics as purported blueprints to alleged crimes.
Caught a body, I ain't say nothing, and he on the run, then I got the gun. Who got the gun? I got the gun.
That motherfucker hard. Hey, run that back, run that back.
And then he on the run, then I got the gun. Who got the gun? I got the gun.
Well, we got a badge.
Although this is a New York state law, I'm sure that other artists from other states will band together to propose similar laws in their own states.
So, what are some common defenses to a RICO charge? No pattern. So let's say, for example, a member of YSL commits a crime in 2013, and in committing that crime, they throw up a YSL sign. And then in 2020, that same member or another member of their group commits another crime and throws up the YSL sign in committing that crime. That's not a pattern because it didn't happen within 4 years of each other. Isolated incidents. So let's say a member of YSL, I'm going to use YSL because we've been talking about it. A member of YSL is arrested for selling drugs and they can actually be convicted of it. And then you have another member who gets into a domestic issue that's not related to YSL. Those two are isolated incidents and cannot be combined as a part of a RICO charge. Not in furtherance of the enterprise. So let's say you commit a crime for your own benefit. For example, you get into an argument and you beat up your significant other because you're mad. The state can't try to now link that to the criminal enterprise. So what are the penalties for violating the RICO statute? A conviction of the violation of the RICO Act is a felony. It carries a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of 20 years in prison, in addition to however much time the other predicate crimes you were convicted of carries. You could also have to pay a fine of $25,000 or 3 times the amount of any money or property gained from the crime. Now that we've talked about the RICO Act, let's talk about why young Thug and Gunna are even still sitting in jail. On the next episode, we're going to talk about bonds and what judges have to consider in granting or denying bonds. Make sure you click like and subscribe to stay up to date with our episodes. And you can follow us on all social media platforms at FosterLawGA. And also, if you have a question that you may want me to answer on one of our episodes, you can email us at info@FosterLawGA.com. Thank you for watching.